In the headlines, ASU federal government meeting ends in deadlock as strike continues. 30 children, 144 Libya returnees arrive Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Flood ravages communities in Yobe and Jigawa states as NIMET raises alarm. And on the foreign scene, North Korea fires cruise missiles as US and South Korea prepare for drills. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Nten Ekman. And on the news in full, now Tuesday's meeting between the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the federal government has again ended without an agreement. This means the 6-month-old strike by public university lecturers will continue. The striking lecturers had met with the Professor Nimi Briggs Committee on Tuesday at the National University Commission in Abuja with high hopes of resolving the impasse. A senior member of ASU who craved anonymity said members of the Briggs Renegotiation Committee did not come with any new offer on the table. Instead, the ASU source said the committee pleaded with the lecturers to suspend the ongoing strike with promises that their concerns will be included in the 2023 budget. Police operatives have foiled terrorist attacks on Tatawa and Barika villages in Kurufi local government area of Katsina State. A large number of the terrorists were put down in an exchange of gunfire in the early hours of Monday morning. Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi reports.
About 80 terrorists riding on motorcycles attacked the two farming communities on Sunday night. They had rustled 75 sheep, 40 goats, and 4 cows before they ran into the police. The animals were recovered after the police had engaged the terrorists in a heavy gun battle. The recovered animals were handed over to their rightful owners on Monday morning at the Kurufi local government divisional police headquarters. These people from the affected communities hail the police in Kurufi and Katsina for their tireless efforts in taming the scourge of terrorism. The terrorists rustled my remaining sheep after dispossessing me of all I have, but as God would have it, they were intercepted by DPO Kurufi and his men. I am very grateful. All of them have been returned to me. The terrorists came around 1 a.m. this Monday. That time we were awake and vigilant. We mobilized and called the DPO and his men. When they arrived, we confronted the terrorists and we succeeded. Local authorities are promising that the government will continue working closely with security operatives to confront the terrorists until they are defeated. They, however, admitted that there are communities in Kurufi local government that were forced out of this year's farming activities due to insecurity.
In Kurihibi, we have Mujin Fulani and Mujin Arna. Also in Sauri B, we have some villages very near or very close to Gwanzu. Then if we move to Sauri A, we have Hakau. Also in Sauri B, there is Sonu, where the council leader belongs to. So these are the only areas that we are facing this kind of problem that you asked.
Confirming the incidents, the police public relations officer, Katsina State Command SP Gambo Isa, suggested the best option for the fight against terrorism.
Do more. We need to do more. It's high time we organize our communities. We re-strategize. But not everything on police, everything on the military. You, as a member of the community, what effort are you making in ensuring that your community is safe? You have a responsibility, and you must look for that responsibility.
Many communities bedeviled by insecurity are now re-strategizing to work with security operatives and other stakeholders to confront the terrorists, saying they are tired of killings, abductions, and assaults. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The freed victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack need to go through therapy sessions due to the trauma they experienced while in captivity. A consultant at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Kaduna, Dr. Joyce Osegali, made a disclosure in Kaduna. The report.
Trauma is an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disaster, among others. Trauma comes immediately after such event and may have longer-term reactions like flashbacks disorder. Victims of Kaduna-Abuja train attack who have gone through terrifying events of being abducted and held in captivity for months need special counseling. Dr. Joyce said the terrifying experience will have a negative effect on them, especially the children who may have a longer-term effect disorder as they grow older.
The main symptoms that they would have would be what we refer to as like flashback. So they keep reliving the experience as if it's just happening again. You understand? They just find that it's something they can't control. So they just find it re-happening. For some of them, they may have nightmares. So at night they sleep and they just have dreams of the whole event all over again or something worse than what has happened.
According to Dr. Osegali, the trauma they vividly experience may also expose them to different forms of mental illness in the future.
Those children are likely to come down with the disorder before they grow older. Now, in terms of the long-term effects, because of the incidents that they have witnessed, that is like a stressor on its own. So it may predispose them to having a mental illness in later life. Maybe they could have difficulties with coping, they could have depression, and then if they face another life event, that could also serve as a trigger.
The doctor outlined some simple strategies of managing stress, anxiety, and trauma.
The best option would be to seek professional advice by seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or just discussing with even a medical doctor. The other thing that we can do to support them is to have some sort of therapy, like a follow-up.
She said relatives of these victims who experience the same trauma may also need to undergo a form of counseling to manage stress and anxiety for their sanity and mental stability. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
President Muhammadu Buhari is hoping to reduce malaria prevalence and save Nigeria from an estimated economic burden of about 687 billion naira in 2022 and 2 trillion naira by 2030. To this end, he inaugurated the 16-member Nigeria End Malaria Council on Tuesday, which is headed by billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote. Kehinde Amodu reports.
A World Health Organization report of 2021 shows that Nigeria alone accounts for 27% of all cases of malaria in the world and 32% of deaths globally. The End Malaria Council will provide a platform to advocate for more funding to sustain progress made so far and put Nigeria on a pathway to ending malaria for good. President Buhari is concerned that the age-long disease has remained a major public health challenge in Nigeria. The membership of the council therefore reflects government's commitment to significantly reducing the malaria burden in the country to a level where it is no longer a public health issue.
Inauguration today will therefore ensure that malaria elimination remains a priority on our agenda, with strong political commitment from leaders at all levels.
The choice of Aliko Dangote to chair the council is informed by the track record of Africa's richest man in supporting initiatives on various health issues such as polio and the strengthening of primary healthcare systems.
Thank you for giving me a group of hardworking, successful, and focused achievers as members of this council. Together, we will work hard to ensure that malaria elimination remains high on Nigeria's agenda with strong political commitment from leaders at all levels. We will advocate at the national and state levels to ensure sufficient funding for malaria elimination.
The two ministers in the Health Ministry are confident that the goal of reducing the prevalence of malaria is achievable. This is because since 2010, Nigeria has recorded a continuous decline in malaria from 42% in 2010, 27% in 2015, to 23% in 2018.
The milestones for 2020-2023, which include reduction of malaria deaths and sickness by 40% by the year 2020, the reduction by 75% by 2025, and reduction by 90% by 2030.
The End Malaria Council has already been established in other African countries, in line with the African Union Assembly Declaration for Establishment of EMCs in Africa. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Another batch of 174 returnees from Libya has arrived at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos. The arrival on Tuesday was the 12th flight of returnees to be repatriated through the Lagos airport, with about 2,044 Nigerians so far already returned. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, who was represented by the Lagos Territorial Office Coordinator Ibrahim Faranloye, received the new badge alongside other officials of the federal government. The returnees are 69 female adults, 5 female children, and 10 female infants, while there were 75 male adults, 12 male children, and 3 male infants. NEMA said 23 arrived with minor medical cases. A member of the House of Representatives for Kano Municipal, Shaban Sharada, has defected from the All Progressives Congress, the APC, to the Action Democratic Party, ADP. A close associate of the lawmaker, Rabiu Sharma, confirmed the development, saying he has picked the governorship ticket of the ADP with Rabiu Bako as his running mate. Sharada contested against the state deputy governor, Nasiru Gawuna, for the party governorship ticket, but lost. He has been at loggerhead with Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje in recent time. Meanwhile, political uncertainty is enveloping the fast-growing New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, as Senator Ibrahim Shekarau contemplates leaving the party for the PDP. Shekarau has been the NNPC's Kano Central Senatorial ticket when he defected with his supporters in June. His spokesman Sule Yeo confirms that both APC and PDP are competing to win the heart of the senator. Consultative meetings are ongoing on the next political move of the former education minister with his Shura Council. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we will find out how indigenous are FCT inhabitants. Do stay with us.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Update on Trust Television. A recap of our major stories. ASUU federal government meeting ends in deadlock as strike continues. And third,
the disaster, which affected many parts of the state.
International Airport in Lagos. Now, moving on to other stories, the recent flood in Jigawa State that killed 50 people has left in its wake devastation among survivors who are taking refuge elsewhere. Salim Umar Ibrahim visits Balangu village in Kafin House, local government area of Jigawa State, reports on the situation. His report is here presented.
The disaster, which affected many parts of the state, was felt more by the people of Kafin Hausa local government area, especially those in Balangu town and neighboring villages. Balangu town itself has so far recorded no fewer than 20 deaths, with more than 300 households displaced.
It is actually disheartening that this unfortunate incident is happening at this time. This is not the first time this is happening, which is very, very sad. And over 300 houses have been submerged by flood, making it difficult for people to stay in their houses. The rivers are situated in the middle of the town, and anytime it rains, it always results to flood.
Residents who were abruptly sent out of their homes are now taking refuge in government-owned school buildings.
Our houses have been submerged by flood, and we are calling on the government and well-to-do individuals to come to our aid and rescue the situation.
The displaced persons are now sleeping on mats with no provision of mattresses yet by the state government. Many of them also said they depend on donation of food from residents to survive.
We have never witnessed this kind of flood in our lives. Everywhere is water. That has forced us to leave our houses with our wives and children.
However, the Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, has said the agency is working round the clock to identify and access affected areas in an effort to provide relief materials.
Hundreds of residents in Nguru local government area of Yobe State are forced out of their residences following a flash flood that took over the entire Zangong Kwangwa area of the town, destroying many businesses. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that residents say they no longer feel safe due to increasing threats of building collapse as a resort to using local boats to access their homes.
Houses abandoned, businesses destroyed, and residents attempting to salvage what remains of their property around Zangong Kanwa, Nguru local government area of Yobe State.
Honestly, this water is disturbing us. It has been disturbing us. Not only us, anybody that is passing through this road, this water remains a problem. In fact, even the mosque that we used to pray, we can't pray in that mosque any longer. Our parents have left their homes. They are also gone. And we have been complaining to the authorities. The local government chairman was here to see this place. Even the commissioner was here to see this place. But up till now, nothing has been done.
Following a recent downpour, residents say a flash flood overpowered their drainage system, leaving many homeless around this area. Over the last 30 years, Zangong Kanwa area has been experiencing flash flood due to the lack of drainage system. Despite the community's repeated complaint to local government authorities, every year they had to deploy local boats as means to cross over from one part of this street to the other.
Wanda idan ya wuce kuma ana iban a yi kasa a yi birki a wurin to yake taruwa.
For me, I'm living in this area. I'm doing my business in this area, and this water has remained a problem for us. Each time, each rainy season, this is how we stay. We leave our business, we leave our houses, we leave everything around here, and nothing is being done to help us. Right now, as I'm talking to you, most of our families, some of them are at the filling station, some of them are at the mosque, and many of them, we have sent them to their relatives because we don't have a place to keep them.
su je su kwana a gurin wanda suke da yan uwa su kai su wani gidajen su kwana.
Meanwhile, chairman of Ungru local government area confirmed that efforts are ongoing to assist the affected victims and ensure that everyone returns back to their homes.
Akwai kokari da ake yi na kwalbatoci.
We have been working on drainage system across Guru local government, and as I am talking to you now, His Excellency the Governor has sent a special committee to come and investigate the recent flood and provide a permanent solution. We are providing relief materials to anybody that is affected by the flood. In fact, 2 trucks of relief materials have already arrived, Guru, from Damaturu, and we are waiting for the rest to come. Then we start distributing them to all the affected victims.
Well,
this is not a bush, neither an outskirt of a town. It is at the heart of Guru local government area of Yobe State. And residents say they can no longer access their homes. Everywhere is covered and it's overpowered by water. But they are waiting for authorities to come to their aid so that this water can go away. And while they wait, their suffering may likely continue to increase. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Yobe.
Ever since the rainy season began, floods have ravaged many states across the country, but it seems the trend will continue. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency is warning that between August and October, some states in Nigeria will experience extreme and alarming intensity of rainfalls, which will damage infrastructure, impact negatively on agriculture and health, and threaten the conditions of people. The Director General of NIMET, Professor Mansour Bako, predicted in Abuja that the high-intensity weather will affect parts of Jigawa, Kaduna, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kano, and northern fringes of Adamawa, Gombe, and Borno State, among others. Nana Mohammed was there in our report.
We've witnessed in the last few days very active weather system that entails on intermittent and heavy downpour.
Overweightiness will lead to flooding. That is the message here. It means the intensity of the heavy downpours will increase. The implications, the risks of flooding will be heightened, while Nigerians will be exposed to waterborne illnesses and experience more outbreaks of diseases.
We cannot control climate change, but we can adapt and then also mitigate its effects. And what we are providing in NIMET and other MDS also is for us to be able to mitigate by providing early warning and then also adopt using certain strategies.
Professor Mansour pointed out that human factors such as dumping of refuse in drainages, building on waterways have contributed largely to the damages caused by intense weather conditions.
People tend to build houses on floodplains, and we know flood, it has what we call return period of either 3 to 4 years, or 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and 1 century, 100 years. So, and wherever you see a river channel, so it also has a history of this return period. And also coupled with the high deforestation activities, felling down of trees, so we have most of the river channels being silted up, and this affects their own size, and whenever there is inflow of water runoff, so they tend to overflow easily because the original depth has been affected.
In other foreign scene, North Korea fired 2 cruise missiles from the west coast town of Oncheon early on Wednesday, a South Korean military source said, without giving details such as the missile's range or altitude. The launches come as South Korea and the United States kicked off their 4-day preliminary joint drill on Tuesday in preparation for the long-suspended live field training Ulchi Freedom Shield, which takes place from August 22 to September 1. Meanwhile, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol on Wednesday said he is willing to provide phased economic aid to North Korea if it ended nuclear weapons development and began denuclearization, as he took questions during a news conference to mark his first 100 days in office. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update. this hour. For more, do link with us on all our social media platforms. I am Nten Ekpang. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.